Welcome back to the lab. Right, dyno time. Let's have a look. There we go, all set up on the Dynapack Hub dyno. Got a couple of things to deal with that we're aware of. We've still got a little bit of a bank-to-bank mixture issue there. It's not a huge one, it's just bugging me. It didn't have one before when we did the software and firmware updates on that Mtron KB8, and then it's saying we've got a bank-to-bank mixture issue. Well, it's not huge, it's like 0.03 difference, so it's not massive, but I'm just concerned as to why it's there and it wasn't before. Calibrated the O2 sensors, they're okay. I've got another set of injectors to bang in there just in case it's that. Been through all the charts, the millions and millions of charts, and tried to see if there was some sort of trim happening somewhere that was causing the issue. Couldn't find anything there. So now we're at a tune shop with a guy who's a specialist tuner, specialises in all this sort of thing. I don't claim to be a tuner, don't want to be. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Looks pretty at least. Got to set up the offsets for the inlet cams. Them puppies in there. They think they're at 6 degrees when they're at 0. That's the difference between DD cams and DE cams. And also a good timing chain rather than one that's flogged to death. So they're advanced a little bit more than what they were static, because the chain is good. Something Rumley's just pulled up outside. So there we go. We'll see. We'll do a couple of power runs and see where we're at. See if we run into any trigger issues or anything like that, and figure out a couple of other things that are going on that are a bit weird. Alrighty, so end of day, back home. Ran into another problem with those bloody triggers. So we got to 6,200, 300, something like that, and had a bit of a misfire. I think the actual misfire was it was just starting to fringe on the rev cut, which was still set at 638, I think it was. I hadn't moved it. I hadn't told Adrian that, and he didn't know, and we didn't go looking, so he wouldn't have come across it. But so it was cutting or missing or whatever. So I said, let's have a look at the trigger scope. So we had a look at the trigger scope and we could see that it was not happy anyway. The pattern was rubbish. There was heaps of it that was missing. Wasn't a square wave. It was a child's drawing of mountains. It was horrendous. So on both of them, not just the crank angle sensor, the exhaust cam sensor as well, which is one that's using for sync, it was all just yuck. So we called it a day at that. He had another car that was booked in anyway, and we burnt up too much time on what we were doing, fluffing around with other stuff. The fuel map was a VE map, and it only went to 100% efficiency down one side, and we were exceeding that at some points in the tune, so we changed it to a different style of map that uses, I don't know, I didn't look, I don't care, it's TPS over manifold pressure or whatever it is. Or we, I think the other option was adding a couple of rows down the bottom to go beyond 100%. I think that was viable, but I'm not sure. I think he did it by TPS. But anyway, so that was all sorted out. And we ran into that bloody trigger issue again. So what happened then, we just whipped the car off the dyno. I've brought it back home. I put it up on the ramps, not on the hoist. I took the trigger sensor out, had a look at it. Tried shifting a little shim that I had out of it and took it for a drive. It was worse. Came back, put the same shim back in there, tightened the bolt up a little bit tighter than what it had been before, to see if it would move it just that 50th of a millimeter, because apparently this thing's going to be that fussy. And took it for a drive. It's mint. Can rev to 7 grand now quite happily. It'll just sit on 7,000 RPM, revving its things off. For the lack of a better word. Didn't use swear words there, pretty good, eh? Didn't use rough words, dirty words. So it's happy now. It's revving to 7 grand all like as long as you want to. So there's no issues. And that's free revving with no load on it. And I've also found quite a place out in the countryside so I don't annoy residents, and run it through to the rev limit in second gear, which is 80 k's an hour, I think 85, something like that. And you can just do that over and over and over until you're sick of doing it, and it's not got any problems now. So I think it just wanted to throw one more tantrum, did that to me on the dyno. So whatever. Now, power figures, everyone wants to know what the power figures are. I don't think I even bothered taking a photo, or I might have. I didn't video it. Some of that footage, you have a look in the corner of the screen, you might see the screen on there. We certainly don't have to worry about going for another low volume vehicle cert, because we didn't make 20% more power. It only did, I think it was 197 kilowatts at the hub, something like that. It didn't get maximum revs. We only got 6,000. Peak power is supposed to be 6.6. So it looked like it was tapering off. Didn't look like it was going to make any more, but it made good torque. There was it 465 newton meters of torque or something like that. So that's good. I am skeptical that the runners, the variable length runners, are set up properly. They may be switching at the wrong times, and that could be affecting our horsepower. So I'll look into that and see what the deal is there, whether it's actually working properly or not. But there you go. There's some noises. We're going to persevere with this. We'll do a bit more road tuning. I think might be the way. Go for a bit of a blat around out on the open road with Kelvin or Adrian or someone, and get it better, closer, and make sure there's no things that are just going to pop up. Funnily enough, I tested it on the way to the dyno and there was an misfire there. And then we get on the dyno and run it for a couple of hours and it comes up. So those Nissan crank angle sensors are pretty sensitive to temperature. They will fail when they get hot. So it could be that even that sensor that's supposedly good may actually have a problem, causing more problems. Bloody problems. Anyway, okay, right, catch you later.